Chapter 9. Welcome back to my channel. Agnes Wanja here. We're currently reviewing my book, Addicted to Being Broke. Let's talk about eradicating the poverty mindsets. Today we're reviewing chapter 9, over and over again. So I'm just going to read the quote that this chapter opens with. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeat so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. By American poet Maya Angelou. That quote is basically saying that even though the challenges have been there, even though the challenges may come, it's okay as long as you're aware that they're just challenges and they're not the end of your story. They're not the conclusion. They're just part of your journey, part of your process. When I was going through this journey, even writing the book, sometimes you do feel defeated. Sometimes I did feel defeated. And I felt like, what is the point? What is the point of all of this? But remembering where I've come from and how far I got allowed me to constantly keep reminding myself and encouraging myself to keep going. It's just a journey. You will get there. At one point of my journey, I was stuck on taking payday loans. And this is where the over and over again comes from. Part of it is because I took a payday loan, and the next month after I pay it back, I say, yeah, that's it. I'm not going to take it again. But what happens? I used a lot of money to pay it back, that I needed that little bit of extra money. What happens? Go back to the payday loan. And the only way I was able to overcome that is when I started earning more money. So the importance that I've been talking about throughout the whole sort of series is finding ways to earn more money. And it doesn't mean to work harder, because when I was working 7 days a week, it didn't mean I was making more money. So it's not so much about working harder, but finding ways to work smarter to allow you to earn more money. And in this chapter, I write about just the getting to a stable place financially was such a big challenge for me. And it's challenging, and a lot of people find it challenging because so many things change with regards to expenses. If you're paying rent or if you've got a mortgage, the interest rate might go up. If you've got rent goes up every financial year sometimes. So keeping up with that, if your employment or your job or your business is not earning more money, will present challenges. So being able to get around the part of adding value to myself constantly to allow myself to earn more money was such a big challenge to overcome. But now I feel like I've managed to get to a place that, okay, even my means of earning now, I know how I can improve it or increase it if I needed to. And for me, it's like a breakthrough. If everything I went through brought me to this place, I'm grateful for that. I write about stepping out of your comfort zone. Being in a comfort zone is so nice. It's like you just know exactly what's going to happen, and you've got a nice feeling kind of thing with regards to your day to day. But sometimes in your comfort zone, you don't allow your best self to show up. You don't allow your skills to be exhibited or displayed for you to actually see. So sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone is where growth really happens. When I stepped out of my comfort zone to go and speak to that director at the time to ask him about an opportunity in their department, I didn't know at that point that it was going to lead to such a great outcome. But it was very uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable to go through that whole process. It's been very uncomfortable to go to university when I had limiting beliefs. It's been very uncomfortable to start businesses that have not worked out, and then start another business, but the money's not coming in and I've got responsibilities. So I need to give up the business, keep trying hard on the business, go back to work, do part-time work. All these different things have been so difficult. But the main thing is they've kept me out of my comfort zone, constantly stepping into uncomfortable scenarios, uncomfortable day-to-day tasks has allowed me to continue growing and continue developing skills that I didn't even know I had. So I can't look back at any of the experience and be like, oh, I regret going to speak to that director. I regret going to university. I regret going to start that business that didn't succeed. I regret. There's no regret. It's all lessons. It's all learning. And I continue to put myself in a place where I'm going to learn a lesson from this experience. Something is going to give eventually. But until then, I have to continuously keep stepping out of the comfort zone. And I conclude this chapter just talking about the savings. Once again, it can feel like over and over again, because you start saving and then all of a sudden you need that money for something and you're like, oh my days. Start saving again and then you need that money. But the main thing is to remember, once upon a time you didn't even have that money that you've saved to be able to pay for that thing. So encouraging yourself, but not giving up over and over and over again. Keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. Keep putting yourself forward. Keep putting your best effort forward, so that eventually this part here will feel like such a distant memory. That part of where you had to keep using your savings will feel like a distant memory, because they will get to a place where you're able to compound your savings and even find ways to get interest on your savings that you can then compound that, and your savings is growing. So it's not to be discouraged, but to continue taking a step towards bettering your future and your financial future, because as an adult, you're responsible for it. And because of times getting tougher, because of AI now that's come into place, our jobs are not sort of guaranteed. And you have to constantly keep staying ahead of that and remembering that if you don't have your job tomorrow, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to make sure that you've got money still coming in? And that's our responsibility. That's my responsibility. That's your responsibility, to make sure you stay on top of it. It's not anybody else's responsibility, unfortunately. And especially if you've got children, they look to you. They don't know about anything else or anybody else. They look to you as their parents or their carers. So it's important that you make sure that you are in a place to provide their basic needs. So yeah, that's the conclusion of chapter 9. Hope you're enjoying the review so far. As I said, that was quite a short chapter. As always, any comments, do leave them below. We can get into discussion about them. I will see you on my next video, which will be chapter 10, and that would be the final chapter. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you in my next video.